remember when I first come down the quarry a couple of years back. It was late spring, you know, it was all looking lovely, and I parked my car at the top and walked down these little paths, you know, heading down towards the lake, and you know, it's like you're walking down these rabbit holes, and it just opened up into this lovely, mature, you know, gravel pit, real clear water, you know, weed beds, you know, you could see the clear spots. It was just beautiful. You know, it was surrounded by trees, you know, a real mature old place. You know, it's sort of, it's like a carp fishing heaven really. And I couldn't wait to get the rods out. Usually day ticket fishing isn't my sort of thing, but this place, it just had something about it. You know, I remember getting down on my first trip, and you know, as you do, you're looking forward to having a feel of the lake bed and whatever, and you know, having a good mooch around for fish, getting up a few trees. You know, managed to see a few as well, which was nice. And that first trip, I managed to nick one, and then after that, I was just really looking forward to getting back down. I think it was about my third trip in that I got lucky with one of the older ones, a fish known as radish, which I had at about just over 33 pounds it was. You know, a real lovely old carp, lovely old scarred flanks, dark fish, you know, across its back. Real beautiful carp. And after that, I was just completely hooked. You know, sadly that one's no longer around. Being so old, you know, you're looking at 40 plus years old. So to have caught that one, you know, it was, you know, I was well chuffed. After a couple of trips and catching radish, after that I was literally completely hooked on the place. And I remember a couple of years back, this was, I was actually coming up here fishing overnighters. You know, I was hitting rush hour sometimes, and it was summer, so you know, I had a bit of time to get the rods out and get down there and get everything sorted for the night ahead. But I remember completely wiping myself out like the next day. But I was so drawn to the place that it just didn't matter. You know, it was worth it to me. And you know, I caught consistently. In fact, I caught every time I came, and I think that's why I was so drawn to the place, because I was putting the effort in and it was paying off. You know, which was really nice. And you know, I carried on catching a few nice ones, up to sort of upper 20s. I remember coming down, it was late summer, August time, and there was a fish in here that I really wanted to catch. It wasn't one of the originals, it was a fish called Orion, a stocked fish from quite a few years back. So it's one of the older stockings. And I remember I had to get out in a boat for it, you know. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, it was still dark, and I've got out in the boat and it's weeded me up. And every time I've gone to net the fish, the boats kept going back, so I've just kept clipping the fish, but I couldn't quite get him in. And in my head, I knew what fish it was, because I could see it. You know, I shone my head torch down, I see it was a good fish, and I just knew it was that one. So I started to panic a little bit. In the end, I've ended up dropping the rod and just teasing the line up in the water, and I've seen the fish, and I've just got the net in one hand and started, you know, pushing towards the fish, and then just pushing the whole lot, all the weed and the fish into the net, and thankfully, you know, I got him in. That fish to me was, you know, incredible in itself. It's a real lovely old mirror, you know, big dark flanks, and you know, I was completely blown away by this particular fish. It was truly stunning. At the end of the month, I got invited down by a few of the sticky lads to do a little bit of filming. You know, so I snapped up the opportunity, and I came back down. Put out a fair bit of bait that night, you know, 10 kilo actually, which is a hell of a lot of bait for me. I usually, you know, fish over smaller amounts unless I know they're definitely having it. But, you know, I went for it, I took a risk. The next morning, you know, there was no shows, there was no real signs of feeding, and just out of the blue, I've just got this take, and once again, I've had to get back in the boat for it. You know, I was accompanied by Joe, and we went out there, and we got above the fish, and you know, straight away I've just seen this great big mirror with a tiny tail, and we were both just like, oh, it's shoulders, you know, like one of the if not the biggest mirror in the lake. You know, I was literally like trembling, you know, like the old legs gone to jelly. I was proper buzzing, and like Joe done like, you know, really well with the netting. He got it in there first time, and it was a great moment, you know. That ended up going just over 37 pounds. You know, real old carp. You know, probably the oldest one in here, I would have thought. After putting shoulders back, the other rod's ripped off, which I had fishing up towards an island, and you know, unbelievably, it was one of the other originals, one known as Baby Radish. You know, complete look-alike to Radish, you know, hence the name given. Real lovely fish. You know, I was already blown away by shoulders, so to have caught that Baby Radish also was, you know, it was awesome. It went just over 28 pounds, if I remember rightly. So, you know, it was lovely to have caught two of the old originals, you know, especially, you know, for the camera, for the lads that I'd come down with. It was nice to share the moment with them. You know, I managed a couple more that trip also. That was it for that year, really. Of my first year of coming down here, I probably did about, I don't know, 15 to 20 nights. But, you know, every trip I caught, and, you know, and it was just a lovely place to come to.